All right, welcome back to the final round here. Let's take a look at this market. A little over 7 minutes to go in today's trading session. You are looking at sharp losses across the board, though we are off our worst levels of the session. The S&P and the NASDAQ down in excess of 4.5%. The Dow with the sharpest losses. Blue chips off over 5.5% on today's session. As we came on the air, the S&P was trading right around 2734, a level that has really been a battleground for the benchmark index over the last couple of sessions, especially Monday and then today. That's really been, that was the low from Monday's session. We lost that level for a brief time during today's session, but looking here a little bit more constructive into the bell, Jared, and it does appear we're going to avoid that bear market close. Perhaps small consolation. Hard to say if this is constructive, but at least you're not going home tonight saying the market is confirmed in bear market territory.
Yeah, I mean, we're just avoiding a headline here, maybe a little bit more selling than we would have had otherwise tomorrow morning. But look, the indicators are still flashing huge warning signs. VIX is still above 50. If you're trying to hedge in this market, it's extremely expensive. Brings back the old saying, you don't buy volatility when you need it, you buy it when you can.
Jared, didn't you say that we've hit bear markets before intraday several times, but never at the close?
Yeah, well, in 2011, when we had the S&P downgrade U.S. debt, we entered into an intraday bear market. So we got more than 20% off, but close to close, it was about 19.5%. Similarly, in 2018, in the fourth quarter, that huge drawdown that we had, it was just shy of 20%, but intraday, it was more than 20%.
So we have the same situation now.
Possibly.
Although, do you want to bet on it the next couple of days? I don't know about that, but that's really interesting that we touched on it so closely 2 times prior, and this may be a third time today even.
Well, and I mean, I think it is, you can be the person who says it's an arbitrary number in the market, and maybe all numbers are arbitrary, but certainly traders know where that bear market level is. And
algos know.
Yeah, algos know. And that 2708
Those are the
level,
traders.
That 2708 level is going to matter for enough programs in the market such that there's going to be a battle when the market does get to those levels. So to your point, Andy, I think it shouldn't be a huge surprise that we've seen the market behave similarly around these milestone kind of events. And,
good point.
Who knows if this is the last time we test that level, but certainly, at least in the last 12 years, we're now 3 for 3 on behaving that way around bear market events.
I'm not betting. I know where my money is. I know where my money is on this one.
Right now, we have about 11 stocks that are in the green in the S&P 500.
Any good ones there?
Do tell.
We have Gilead is up 2%.
Yep, great.
T-Mobile is up 1.3%. Wow. Aon up 1%. Citrix up almost 1%.
I got really bad news.
We have Willis Towers in there as well. We got a merger. United Health. Just going red. So trying to get in there. But anyhow, a few names here. But really, it is not looking.
I don't want to get too dire here, but my laptop battery just ran out, so watch out.
Pretty much says it all.
What do you think that is going to?
Well,
to
nobody's going to be buying
Portend.
at the close.
Right.
Even
not you.
That's how you know volume picked up.
Right.
Even though it looks like we're going to close out of the official 20% down, there are still, and I know there's no bear markets in stocks, there are still very active and big cap names that are huge tickers for Yahoo Finance readers that are down 20%. Facebook, 52-week high, down 23% here. Google right now is off more than 20%. Who else has come back? Actually, Microsoft just made it out, almost down 20%. When we started, they had been down. So, and of course, the best of the FANG bunch, as we all know, is Netflix, still down just some 10%.
Well, here's another
52-week high.
We just had 4 stocks a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, at $1 trillion or more. Now they have collectively lost about $1 trillion in market cap.
Yeah.
I remember those $1 trillion days, Jared.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything was so innocent and simple.
Over 1,100 52-week lows today at the New York Stock Exchange, and over 1,000 at the NASDAQ.
Yeah, another one of these flush days. Certainly not a lot of positive that you can take away from today's trading session, other than we finished off the absolute lows of today's session. All right, Andy Serwer, Jared Blickery, thank you boys so much for stopping by on this Wednesday. We'll see you guys later this week here on the final round.
Thanks.
All right, let's take a look at this market right now. We've got 2.5 minutes to go during today's trading session. You're looking there at the Dow off some 5.5%. We were off about 1,600 points, 6.6% at the lows of today's session. Also notable, the Dow here is the worst performer among the major averages during today's session. And just want to draw your attention to a name, Jen, that we have not discussed all that much during today's session. We mentioned it in passing.
Who?
That's Boeing, the worst performer in the Dow, off some 18% during today's trading session. Boeing getting two bits of bad news, reports that they have drawn on their revolving line of credit, which we've seen more and more companies do. Also, Air Canada coming out and canceling about 20% of their 737 MAX orders. That stock down about 19% here. And price-weighted index, the Dow is, so 43-point decline on shares of Boeing. You multiply that by about 6.5, and that gets the point hit there. But
I guess lucky for us that it's becoming less of a weight
lucky for the Dow, lucky
it's
for
under
yes.
200 now.
Yes.
We keep talking about this 1-2 punch that's been hitting the markets. First, you get a supply shock. Now we have a demand shock, and Boeing has its own recurring nightmare of news. Yep. The tragedy of the two planes going down, and then just how they dealt with it. Yep. And so that stock really getting caught up in this. Let's just check levels real quick so you have them before we close. On the Dow, we're looking for a close below 23,641. That would be bear market. S&P 2708 and NASDAQ 7853. If you have been with us the last few weeks, you know a lot can happen in the last 30 seconds here. We are never able to exactly predict where we are going to go. But of course, right now, we are looking at being off the lows for the session. That's not that great, though. It's not going to be enough.
A small consolation on a day like today.
Live pictures again of the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ market site here, with the Dow falling over 1,000 points. The WHO declaring COVID-19 a pandemic. This is going to do it for the day.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.